Hi guys, and I'm just going to do a bit of an improvement to this, if you don't mind. And just in case people think that I'm faking it, that'll do. I just want a bit of a taste in there. I don't want too much, you know. Too much of a lovely thing. I'll put that down there. Best way to improve Costa. Give it a splosh, give it a splosh. I should be a damn chef. Or at least a barman. Actually, I was once. Yeah. In a previous life, so they say. But anyway, I'll sit myself back, get myself comfortable, get yourselves comfortable as well. So, I think it was obvious I was going to do something on this one, hopefully. Run out of road footage. I mean, I could reuse road footage again, but then you're just going to be watching the same thing, so I thought, I'm not going to do that. You know, I farmed it as best as I can. But the M1 crash, now you're all familiar with it, you've all heard it. What was it? It was the minibus with, what was it, 8 people dead and some fighting for their lives. That's at the time of recording this. That's what we know at the moment. Sorry, I got a cat scratching out there. Fine. And then you got the FedEx and AIM, was it not? Logistics. Now, from what I've seen, from what I've read online and bits and bobs like that, but news reports, not just people surmising on various chat forums and stuff like that. Looks as though the AIM truck, driven by, I'm not even going to try and say his name, but he was 31 Polish guy, 31-year-old I should say, Polish guy, had come to a complete stop for 12 minutes in the near side lane. Which scares the absolute crap out of me, unless of course he had a mechanical issue. Now if he had a mechanical issue, fair enough, but again, he was stationary for no good reason from what I've read thus far, and of course they haven't had the court case, they haven't heard all the bits and bobs yet, but he was over the limit. Now okay, I have a laugh and a joke doing this, you know, bunging a bit of bourbon into me coffees and having the odd beer, but the thing is, I don't do this the day before I go to work, just so as you're aware. I do this when I've got the following day off. But yes, he was over the limit. Now some people will be sitting there going, well, okay, he was over the limit, but if he was stationary for 12 minutes, alcohol had nothing to do with this accident. Well, why was he stationary for 12 minutes? We don't know. But I can kind of see that argument, and I've actually seen it, a few comments here and there. They're all going there. Everyone's falling out the tree that he was over the limit. He was, what did he blow? Something like 65, didn't he? And the limit's 30 something. I don't even pay attention to it anymore because it's become so low that there is pretty much no point in going for a drive after having even just a beer with dinner. I mean, just don't bother with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I can kind of see the point. Everyone's falling out the tree about the fact he was over the limit. Yeah, he shouldn't have been on the road. Yes, he shouldn't have been driving. But if he was stationary at point of impact, and he had been stationary for 12 minutes, just saying. I'm just saying it. But the other thing that some people seem to be confused about is the FedEx guy. 50-something-year-old truck driver, who's also getting done for causing death by dangerous driving. And some people are very confused about this, because obviously AIM stationary, van is whatever, and poor old FedEx guy, you know, he's trundling along, and I mean, if AIM's stationary and that's the cause of the accident, then poor old FedEx guy, you know, he's trundling along, what's he going to do? Why is he getting done? Couple of reasons. And these are reasons I've had arguments with older drivers before now over the same kind of subjects. And it's that kind of, oh, that's never going to happen, oh, you take me to court, they'll never do you for that, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. A few days ago, where I work, the units had a bit of an issue. Some of them were losing power, things were going wrong. And I was going down the M2. I say going down the M2, I was going up the M2. And there's some nice hills along the M2. I'm going up one of them. And I can see one of our other guys in front, double decker. And I'm a distance away at this point in time. And I'm catching him up like he's standing still. I mean, at the end of the day, units do go wrong. You know, turbos fail, fuses blow, for example, things like that. So it's not something that you take out on the road. It's just saying, whilst you're out on the road, you start going up a hill. That's usually the only time you figure out something's gone wrong. So I'm not criticising anybody here. Please understand this. But I saw him from a distance away, and I was catching him up like he was standing still, and I could see I was catching him up like he was standing still. And at night, you can see that you're catching things up. I mean, that section of the M1 isn't exactly pitch black at the best of times. And, you know, best of times at night time, you know, the darkest nights is what I mean. And you can tell as a driver that something's not quite right. You get a feeling, especially as you get more experience. You do. It's like a car will go past and you know that car's going to slam in front of you and then slam up the slip road. You just know that's what's going to happen. You just get this feeling. The thing is, whether you like it or whether you don't, we are classed as professional drivers. And I've said this many times, and I will continue to say this. Our job as drivers, whether you're a bus driver, a truck driver, or whatever, our job as drivers is simply avoid accidents. That is it. A side effect of avoiding accidents is you get to your destination. The load gets to its destination, usually on time. So our job as a professional driver is to avoid the accidents. Now, I've had arguments with older drivers, oh, that's all just bollocks, you can't avoid accidents, all this kind of stuff. Sometimes things happen. Yes, sometimes people pull out at the last second and you're like, as you're going into them. There are things you can't avoid. But when you're on that stretch of motorway, what was it, between 14 and 15, it was at a slip actually, when you're on a straight stretch of motorway, and that is a straight stretch of motorway, you can see. Now, I'm going to give a scenario. At this point in time, there has been no court proceedings published or anything like that other than the basics. So I know nothing about what's caused this. But I'm going to give you a scenario, and I want to see how many of the truck drivers who watch me have fallen into this before now. There he goes, trying to make his bed. Now, you're trundling along on a motorway, and you're catching up a vehicle. Pull out to overtake the vehicle speeds up, you pull back in. The vehicle slows down, you pull out. The vehicle speeds up, you pull back in. And you do this for a while. Do you get angry with that vehicle? Yeah, pretty much. You'll flash it, you'll bib it, you'll do whatever. Now, doesn't matter who's driving it. Could be a van, could be a car, could be male, female, black, white, cube nation. Doesn't matter who's driving it. You've pulled out, it's sped up, you've pulled back in. You've pulled out, it's sped up, you've pulled back in. And you've done this for a few miles. And you're trundling along. And then you think, well, sorry, I'm just going to stay out here. Eventually they'll slow back down, I'll go alongside them, whatever. And you're trundling along. All of a sudden you see an obstacle up ahead. A slower moving vehicle. Usually. And you just sit there and think, right, well now you're going to have to slow down, mate. And go past. Right. Lots of people do it. Now imagine that's what was going on between the minibus and the FedEx guy. But because the FedEx guy was concentrating on the minibus, and the minibus driver was, maybe a bit jittery or maybe a bit panicky, hence the reason he's speeding up. We don't know. I am only theorising. This is only one of millions of scenarios. Trundling along. All of a sudden, they realise that truck's stationary. FedEx doesn't give. As far as he's concerned, minibus man's got to stop. FedEx can't go into the third lane. Unless in an emergency situation, which a blocked near side lane, maybe no lights on the truck, I'd class that an emergency situation. Smash. Massive accident, people die. AIM's going to get done for the simple fact that he's stationary in the near side lane. FedEx is going to get done because he didn't move. Now the other scenario is FedEx is going to get done because he didn't stop. And if he didn't stop, he was either not paying attention or too close. So like I said, there's many different scenarios, many different possibilities. But these are just some of the reasons why FedEx guy could be getting prosecuted, why he could be getting done. So there you go. I just thought I would cover that a little bit. But you sit there and you've got to ask yourself, why was somebody stationary? It doesn't matter what country you're from. Why would you be stationary in any lane of a major road? Unless you've broken down. And there's nothing you could do. Why? And why would you be stationary in that lane for 12 minutes? For more than a minute. For any length of time. Now, this completely confuses me. I don't know how people drive in Poland or Romania or Lithuania or any of the other countries in that area. Eastern Europe, I suppose. But I see so many Eastern European drivers, or what we in Britain would refer to as Eastern European drivers, whether they're in this country driving our vehicles or driving an Eastern European vehicle themselves, sitting in the hard shoulder or doing things that you look at and you think, why are you even attempting to do that? They're on a roundabout, they've gone past their exit and they're reversing back. It's a roundabout. It's circular. Boy. You start asking yourself questions like, well, why are you doing that? But it's funny because it seems commonplace that things that you just don't understand are happening like that. I've seen it before. The 249 onto the M2 onto the 249 roundabout, traffic light controlled, and I've seen vehicles there reversing for the M2 slip. Not off of the M2 slip, but for the M2 slip. They've gone past it, and there's hashing, red floor and hashing just there, and they've gone past it, and they're reversing. It's a roundabout. It's circular. One thing that amuses me about that particular setup, that particular roundabout, is the road sign. Now it says M2 London, A249, M2 Dover and that way, Canterbury, A249. Right, so the sign in both lanes has A249. Now the road has M2 London in the near side, A249 in the right side and M2. The thing is, the signage, the road signage, tells you 249 both lanes. Now as far as I'm aware, the road signage is what you go by, the lane markings are guides. In other words, the lane is telling you that if you're going to London, you need to be in the near side lane. You cannot do it from the right hand lane. Whereas the sign is telling you that the A249's both lanes. Now that's my interpretation of it, and given that the sign is telling you that, the amount of times I've been in the near side lane going straight over to go towards Maidstone on the 249, and somebody in that lane, in the right lane, has decided he wants to go up the A2, and it's my fault. I had one a little while ago. She was in a Golf, and we're coming up to the lights, and I go through, and when I go through I always make sure that I'm quite wide, I'm on the line, because that tends to make car drivers in the right hand lane go further away from you, because you're in that lane, so they're like, he's going to cut here, so I don't want to get involved in this. So I always tend to stay on the white line. Literally, I'm sitting on it. Don't really need to be there, but it puts that kind of distance between you and the car in the right lane. And I was going through here, and she's in a Golf, and I go straight on. All of a sudden there's this horn, so I've kind of slowed down, hit the brakes and moved slightly, looking in my mirror, and she's turning in. Well, I'm not stopping. There's no way I'm making, at the speed that I'm currently going, I'm not going to be able to now make the turn. I've gone further enough that I can't safely make that turn. Not a chance now. So I've put my brakes on and gone wide. I'm throwing myself into that hashed area. Well, she's carried on. Then realised I'm not actually stopping. I'm going straight on. Hit her horn again and come to an abrupt stop. Very close. Very close. And I'm now completely in the hashed area. The lights have changed because obviously we're braking, we're slowing down. And I'm now sat in this hashed area. She has now wheel spun, gone through the red light and in front of me, and stopped and jumped out of her car. And she's now looking round her car. We didn't hit. If my truck had made contact with her Golf, we'd have set at least one airbag off at that speed. I didn't touch her. So I lean out the window and say, did I hit you? She went, I don't know. Right, well that means I didn't hit you, okay? If you hit so much as a butterfly at high speed in a car, you know about it. You know, you've ever hit one of those big bugs as a dunk. Imagine scraping down the side of a trailer. You know. She's just making a scene. Anyway, there's no damage. She jumps in her car, right? She is in front of me, through the red light, left hand most point on that roundabout, in the hashed area. Well, I'm in the hashed area, she's over it. I'm indicating to let everyone know, look, I'm continuing on. She, lights have changed, has just spun round, gone straight across everybody to go all the way back around the roundabout to go that way. Now the entire time, as far as she's concerned, I'm in the wrong. And these are the things that we as drivers have to look out for. We have to be aware of. It's one of the reasons why I will always put myself right on that line. Even if I don't need to go that wide, I will put myself on that line. Because if you go as wide as you need to, and you've got a couple of feet between you and the line, people always cut that line. Go into a bend, they're race lining it. No, they're not. They're being idiots. But they always cut that line. Yeah? If you're on that line, what can't they do? Cut the line. But because they always cut the line, they don't actually know where their car is. They don't actually know where in their lane they are. So if you're on that line, they're now going a lot slower than normal and watching what's happening. Now, it doesn't stop people from cutting the line. Some people do. They're just looking for their gap, they cut it, you're on the line, conk. Yeah? But they've cut into your lane. You're not over the line, you're on it. They've cut. Done. And you should be going slow enough in most of the scenarios where you'll be able to stop pretty much where they hit you. So you can take photos and prove it. But I always put myself as wide as I can, even if I don't need to. And I see so many guys who get, trucks in front of me, whoever they're driving for, who are, being nice, and they're staying in their lane, and they're using the little hashed area next to the curb for their trailer to cut through, and so on and so forth. And these cars going, meow, and cutting right in front of them, and you hear air horns going off and everything. Move over just about a foot, just onto that line, right on the edge of that line. Watch what happens. Try it. If you're a driver, try it. See what happens. You'll be amazed. Cars will slow down. They will suddenly use their lane. It's really odd. But it's true. And these are kind of examples of avoiding the accident. You know it's probably going to happen. So how can you avoid it? A bit of commanding the road style stuff. Anyway, I think that's enough from me, because I've now got to sort out the kitchen, the rest of the shopping, do the dinner, pay the council tax, the water bill, the electricity bill, and I think that's it. So yes, I just thought I'd do a little thing on, obviously the M1 situation and an example of avoiding accidents, putting yourself somewhere. You've always got to be wary, you've always got to remember that can happen. And there are some things you can't do. For example, if this woman hadn't stopped, she'd have gone flying straight into my trailer just before my wheels. It would have been an impressive accident. But yes, I just thought I'd do something on it, seeing as it's relevant at the moment. Oh, one other thing just before I do go, the cheap heap has gone. It's gone, I scrapped it. If you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, you'll have seen the uploads earlier. Yeah, it's gone. It got picked up and taken away. So yes, I'll put a little photo in of it sitting on the back of the low loader for you at the end of this. But it's not coming back from this one, I'll tell you that. It ain't coming back. Anyway, cheers for watching. Like, subscribe, share about. Do whatever it is you usually do. I'll see you in the next one. There is a new link down below in the description. It is to Bert's Facebook page and her arts and crafts, because we're starting to get that going. Now it's a new page, she's only just getting used to it, and she doesn't really like social media and that kind of stuff. She's always avoided it, so she's trying to find her feet. But if you could click on it, have a look, maybe like and follow, if that's your kind of thing, if you want to see where she goes with her arts and crafts. But the link is below in this description. Okie dokie? So help her out a little bit. Maybe leave the odd comment or something. Be nice. But just go and have a look. Go and see, go and view some of the bits and bobs. Anyway, cheers for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.